If your e-commerce brand struggles from really low months, especially after, high months and hopefully record months, if you're doing the right execution when it comes to sales and offers and campaigns and jumping on, the bandwagons of seasonal events such as, in the financial year and Black Fridays and all those sorts of things. If you really suffer from extremely low months in the following months, this will be very helpful for you. And this has come off the back of my own experience, 13 plus years in e-commerce, helping over 300 e-commerce brands at this point, and seeing, the trends over those years, which are cyclical, and doing a lot of things to try and prevent these sales slumps that I'm actually going towards. So what typically happens with retail, let's call it e-commerce brands specifically, is you have a personality within your seasonality. Let's call it your calendar year. Now, if I'm speaking from Karmic, the cold pressed juice company I co-founded in 2013 with my brother, the sales periods look like a bit of a smiley face, right? So high at the top of the year, January, February, March, everyone's, wanting to be healthy and detox and New Year's resolutions, all that sort of thing. It comes into the winter months and it slopes down because it's cold and people are kind of inside and not wanting to do a juice cleanse, a cold juice cleanse. And then towards spring and summer, people want to get healthy again and get back outside and recharge and get fit again. So that's a bit of a smiley face. Now, in between all of that, there are some peaks and troughs. Again, coming back to the periods of promotion and riding on the coattails of those sorts of things, like in the financial year and that mid-year, we might get a spike there. And so what I've learned to do, and what I obviously teach and advise, my paid clients and my Ecom Blueprint and my up-level mastermind programs, is how can we avoid these things? And the question doesn't really come about how we avoid them. It's about how we make them not as slumpy or flat or low as what they have been in the past. And so what I typically relate to when I speak with people is, look, our goal is not to be as high as the high as it's been. It's very rare, I would say extremely uncommon, unless you're in the first, 12 months of your business where you're actually growing month on month on month. That's really good and positive to see. You'll even see some peaks and troughs there as well. But as you get a little bit more seasoned, into those 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years and beyond, you will experience the same peaks and troughs in the preceding years. And so what our goal then becomes is to be better than we were the same period last year. So we want our smiley face for Karmic in this case to be here this year, and then it's going to be above next year, and then the year after that, and the year after that, year after that. So for example, to use real numbers, if you did $50,000 in June 2025, we want to see that at $75,000 in June 2026, right? If you did $30,000 in May 2025, you want to see that at $40,000, $50,000 in May 2026, right? So you want to be year-on-year growth rather than month-to-month growth after you've been in business for a little bit of time. And that's how we should look at our business in terms of, is it progressing, making more money, is it growing? And a lot of people, unfortunately, see year-on-year slump. And that ruins their confidence. It ruins their conviction in their product, their belief in, what they're doing. And honestly, a lot of people come to me and into the programs quite flat within themselves about saying, I really believe in this product and I'm doing everything I possibly can. And, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. And that's where I'm able to basically see what they're doing and say, okay, cool. Look, well, there's some opportunity here, and here. We just need some structure, some strategy behind it. And then obviously the execution and support along that way as well. And then they feel that confidence, they have that plan, they have the reinvigorated energy and passion around their business, and they start to see results. And it's the most amazing thing for me to be a part of and to witness as well. And so coming back to the original part of what this video is talking about, firstly, we need to set our expectations that we're not going to experience month to month to month if you're in that next season of your business. It's just not the reality. We'd love it, but it's just not the reality. So expectation setting is really important, but that's not about resting on, it's a quiet month, so we should do nothing and we should shut everything off and just pretend we're not here and it's all fine. Not at all. We want to see that year-on-year growth again. And so what I've been advising my clients through my program after sales periods is that month after a sales period is a really great opportunity, because what we've done in the sales periods, we've created an audience up to that point and we've been able to harvest from that audience. So we call planting seeds, meaning build an audience and get exposure and drive people to site and everything like that. And then during a sales period where we have a great offer, we're able to harvest, we're able to literally make sales and drive revenue from them. And so at the beginning of a quieter month, let's call it a non-promotional month, our pipeline or our fields have been harvested, like they're empty. Right? There's nothing to harvest or very little to harvest, right? Initially. And so our focus then needs to go back to, well, how can we then plant the seeds again, right? How do we plant the seeds, right? So our focus should be urgency on how do we go and start to plant the seeds? And I can promise you, the faster you can do this, the more effectively you can do this, the more affordably you can do this, the faster you can actually harvest. And so where people don't make the link, and where I try and educate people and help them along the way, is if you're not growing your audience, if you're not planting any seeds, there's nothing to harvest. But conversely, the faster you're growing, the faster you're planting, really, the faster you can actually harvest. Okay, so we can go from a big sales period a year to 2 to 5 to 10 to 20, right? I'm expanding and contracting because what it's meaning is the faster you're growing, the shorter your window of promotions can actually be. And so most people within my Ecom Blueprint community, coming off the back of a sales brief, can do another offer in the very next month, right? Where people write that offer as like, oh, we're not going to make any sales this month, right? These people, these clients of mine are going to be making sales. They're going to be hitting way better months. Like I'm talking between 30 and 50% higher than what they did the same time last year, which is just massive for confidence building because it builds into the back end of the year where we're looking to double, triple, and quadruple their sales during the same periods as the previous year. Really exciting. But it comes down to planting more seeds. So building audience, building audience, building audience, creating a bigger sphere of influence. How do we do that? Through ads, driving traffic, creating value, through competitions, collaborations, through more outreach, through PR, leveraging other people's audiences is what I call it. So that's by any means necessary, getting someone to talk about you and your product to their audience to drive them over to you. It builds a little bit of that first touch, get some traffic through, get some followers through, maybe join your email list. Then there's people to talk to, people to harvest from. Right? So there's infinite means. And as I say, by any means necessary is a term I use quite a lot within my community, my program. Right? So also during these periods, we want to be able to nurture our customers, especially our new customers that came through during that sales period. So we want to thank them. We want to educate them. We want to indoctrinate them. We want to make them a part of our community, our family, so that the next time something comes around in terms of an offer or a new product or whatever it may be, they're going to respond. And they're going to hopefully purchase from you again. You can cross-sell them. You can get them to talk about you. You can use referral links, whatever it may be. There's opportunities that are infinite. But we want to just not stand still and do nothing. We want to cherish what we've been able to harvest. And then, as I said before, build on top of what we've already currently got. And so that's where, if you've been in business long enough, there will be a natural compound effect. Okay. But what we want to do in 5 years, we want to do in less than 12 months. That's, again, the real priority and focus of the program that I run is saying, yeah, you will get there. If you're in it long enough, if you've got the stamina and resilience to stay in the business game long enough and people actually like your product and they'll pay money for it, obviously some prerequisites, you will get to a certain point. But people can't wait that long. It's either not profitable enough, fast enough, they just run out of steam, they don't see the progress and they kind of give up. So we want to condense that 5-year period into less than 12 months, even 6 months. It's possible, but it's knowing about the right way to go about it. And that thing is audience building, harvesting from that audience. Audience building, harvesting, right? So we want to expand that sphere of influence as much as we possibly can, as fast as we possibly can. So the focus for the quieter months to build upon the year on year is building your database, okay? Doing anything you possibly can to build your sphere of influence. And the second thing is being able to continue to indoctrinate or educate and just cherish the people that have come into your world over that sales period for the first time, or if they've been repeat. We shouldn't forget about the people who have come back time and time and time and time again. So you thank them, you educate them, you give them more value, maybe give them another follow-up offer, right? And you will extract sales during this period of time. I guarantee it, okay? It's just you have to be in it. You have to be on the front foot with it. If you think about multi-million, multi-billion-dollar brands, do you think they ever stop advertising? Do they ever stop presenting offers? Do you think they're scared to send an email or publish an ad or produce a post? Absolutely not. And so we must have that same frame of mind. Our world, our customers are actually infinite. Like making $100,000 a month is, I won't say it's not difficult. I'm just saying it's not that rare. Like it's so possible, especially for you in your specific market. It's there, sitting right there. And so we must be outbound to bring people into our world as much as we possibly can, all right? There's a time for harvesting, but the planting of the seeds is as important so we actually have something to harvest at those periods of time. If your audience is the same size as it was during the last offer or sales period, the next time around, you're going to get the same results, if not probably worse, because people stocked up then and they don't have the capacity to buy again, right? However, if your audience size is 2 to 3 to 5 times bigger than what it was during the previous sales period, let's call it the previous month, then that's when you're going to get those exponential results, that hockey stick growth. And we see it time and time and time again. I can say this with such conviction because I see it every single month through our community. And it's amazing to watch and observe and be a part of. Okay. So look, I hope that was valuable for you. It's about obviously growing year to year, okay, month to month, seeing that growth. And what we could do, I guess, during those quieter months, because we never want to succumb to, oh, this is a quiet month, we're just going to rest on our laurels and keep celebrating, from the previous month, okay? So I hope that's valuable for you. If it was, love a like, love a subscribe. Any questions, let me know. If you want to know more about how we help e-commerce brands, you click on the link below. But other than that, thanks for being here. I hope it was valuable again, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.